Hello, I'm your host, Dr. Bob Lee, and you're watching Open, the only live interactive program that brings the Bronx and New York City straight to your TV set. Stay connected through us, through social media, at BronxNet TV. Leading things off, after numerous fires in the Bronx, including one that left 13 dead, our first guest joins us with tips on what you should know about fire safety. We welcome retired FDNY firefighter and Vice President of New York Fire Consultants, Robert O'Brien, to the show. Welcome.
Good morning, thank you.
We were talking off camera about a number of things, and this recent fire, one of the worst in decades, took place, and a number of people passed away. And you said there could be a number of things that could have prevented that, and a number of things that could have created a worse situation.
Yeah, that is true. It was the worst fire since the Happy Land Social Club fire in New York City, so 27 years.
Yeah.
Any fire is a tragedy where there's a loss of life. Basically, not knowing too many of the details of this fire, just from what's been brought out on the news and in the newspapers, the fire spread very rapidly. It was started by a 3.5-year-old child playing with, the knobs on the stove, while the parent, the person responsible for that child, was showering or taking some kind of shower or bath.
Yeah.
And the child was left unattended for approximately 20 minutes. There is question about there might have been past incidents where the child played with the knobs or whatever, but first off, a child that young should never be left unattended.
Yeah.
At any time.
So how did that fire turn out to be as bad as it was so rapidly? And the response was phenomenal.
2 minutes and 40 some odd seconds, the first units were there and at the front of the building, and they were met with what's called 1045s, which is a code for persons that have succumbed to their injuries right inside the door.
So upon arrival, that was all over the radios, 1045.
Steps into the door. They were met with, I believe, 3 bodies. And then it just piled up on every level. It was more and more. The smoke was thick and blinding. Banked down. Banked down means it pushed all the way down to the floor. It was very, very hot. Apparently, the woman grabbed her child or children, and as exiting the building, left the front door open. And one of the things in fire safety education is close the door.
Close the door.
Close the door. That door is a barrier that can prevent that fire from spreading out to the hallway. It's very, very important.
So since we had an open door, the wind came in and helped spread the fire.
There was some kind of flue effect that pushed the fire out into the hallway and then up through the stairwell. And in a lot of these buildings throughout the city, not just in the Bronx, you find a lot of rubbish, baby carriages, all kinds of combustibles, which is not allowed. And this comes about because of storage space. People don't have the space to store a lot of these items, and they store it out in the hallway, which becomes flammable, and it always is very cumbersome for firefighters trying to make that hallway.
Yeah, they even have to be careful of the paint that they use.
Well, yes. Oil-based paint is very flammable, and is it a factor in this fire? I'm sure that'll be determined at a later date when the experts look into that. But for the volume of fire to spread up throughout that building in the short amount of time that it did, it's a good probability that that might have been oil-based paint. Yeah. And that would act as a very high accelerant.
And some of those funerals are taking place today. Explain some of the things that you do as a New York Fire Consultant and New York Fire Safety from the New York Fire Safety Institute.
I'm one of the co-founders of NY Fire Consultants. It started as an idea and a dream, and it evolved into a reality. There are 22 active or retired New York City fire officers involved. There's over 570 years of experience that is brought to the table. And the key in firefighters is training, and firefighters train constantly, every day, every tour, firefighters train. We took that concept and now we pass that on to the public, the general public, and training is key. Most people don't realize that in November, over 40 million, I believe it is the number of kiddie fire extinguishers with plastic tops were recalled.
Wow.
And you see these extinguishers every place. they're dangerous.
Yeah.
And
And
most
people they don't know how to use it.
most people have no clue how to use a fire extinguisher, or let alone know where they are.
Wow. So you come with a number of safety fire tips. Can you give us a few?
Well, first thing to do is study your fire safety plan, fire safety guides, fire safety guide, it's called now, local law. That's been established in New York City. The landlord of the building has to supply each individual tenant with a fire safety guide. It gives you the exits, the stairs, what to do, how to get out. There's a notice that's supposed to be posted on the back of the door.
That's the first thing I do when I go into a club or a lounge or something like that. Where's the exits here?
Well,
I need to know.
we're partnered with a group of former Navy SEALs, Safe Crew, that they teach situational awareness, and situational awareness in today's world is key. You have to know 365 days a year, you have to know what's going on around you, not only with fire safety, but in the world we live in.
Yeah. What do you have here?
These are personal safety guidebooks that were developed with the knowledge, 570 years of knowledge, that you could keep in your pocket or in your purse or in your bag, and at the touch of a fingertip it tells you what to do in specific situations that you might encounter in either a combustible or non-combustible building, in a hotel, in an office building, or whatever. And you know, there's two people that have come through the training courses that we provide at the Fire Safety Institute that took these and went home and practiced with their families, and their families are alive because of the information in those books. So it's a valuable tool.
And then there's something else that we mentioned a while ago. The gates on windows in a lot of the buildings.
Yes. Window gates are a problem throughout the city. I mean, there's approved fire gates which operate with the flip of a finger and a latch, and you can move that gate to get out onto a fire escape. A lot of these have scissor gates with a lock and a padlock on them, and in that heat and that smoke and confusion, you can't find that key. You don't have the time to get that key to open it, and they're very dangerous and they're illegal.
How about doors opening the right way?
Well, again, the self-closes on doors, it's the responsibility of the landlord to ensure that those self-closes are in operable condition, and there are working smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors.
Wow, we could spend a whole hour talking about the fire safety and some of the wonderful things that you do. Thank you so much for your service.
Thank you.
Where can we go for more information?
You can go to our website at www.nyfiresafe.com.
Give him a big hand, everybody. The Vice President, New York Fire Consultants Incorporated, retired firefighter. Thank you so much for your service.
Thank you.
Robert W. O'Brien.
Thank
we
you.
appreciate you. We'll have to take a quick break right here, but coming up, we'll have a look at an education panel in the Bronx. But first, let's check out a new Bronx business promoting health and fitness. Check it out.